Alright, right. Okay. Sounding a bit country there, Dan. Video on Jack and Jill. I was just watching a guy decode your reality, and he was talking about it. I didn't see anybody with a post or a comment or even him discussing my thoughts on that nursery rhyme. Okay, so Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down, broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after, right? That's about the only bit that I ever remember of it. But there is a second verse as well. Up Jack got, and Homie, I've got it written down on here. And Homie ran as fast as he could caper, where his mother bound his head with vinegar and brown paper. Yes. Vaguely remember the second verse from childhood. But of course the first verse is well entrenched. Now, I'm gonna go into what I think that means, right? Right, straight away we've got Jack and Jill, okay? We've got the male and the female, right? The male being the sun, the male being man, the male being, and when I say man, I'm not getting all sexist. I'm just saying the man represents humanity as a whole, okay? And then we've got the Jill, the female counterpart to that. Jill is the fiction, the ideas that we have, the metaphysical. Jack's the physical, Jill's the metaphysical, okay? The opposite. The spiritual realm, our ability to have ideas and thoughts and all that kind of stuff, all right? So, the moon, represented by the moon, the two counterparts in the sky, the moon, the waters. Look, I'm dressed up all in blue, not really specially for this video, but I just happen to have blue on, and my hair just happens to be crazy, so I got a blue hat on. But the moon, this is why there's seas on the moon, all this stuff. This is why the moon exerts tidal forces on the oceans, etc., on the seas of the world. I mean, what else do you say? Now, so what happens is Jack and Jill, both together. This is man using Jill, going up the hill, climbing that hill of innovation, of technology, creating more and more things, building more and more things. That pail of water is all those ideas. That's what he's going up there creating. He's creating that pail of water, to fetch that pail of water. That's what he's making, is a great big pail of fictional stuff that isn't natural. That's what we do. We've got a mind, we're able to create stuff, and usually that stuff is not very in line with nature. But anyway, that's what we do. We use the fiction, we use the feminine, we use the moon to create those things. Okay? And what happens is, as we use the moon to create those things, what ends up happening is those things end up controlling us because they're not balanced. We're not balanced when we do those things. So it's just a big mishmash mush unbalanced fest that's going on there. And what ends up happening is man ends up falling. Jack falls. He breaks his crown. The thing that generates those thoughts. He breaks his head. His head is broken. He's not thinking straight. I mean, we're to that point now with this civilization, the way society is, that we're not thinking straight anymore. I mean, there is no way, if you look out at what's going on in the world, if you think we're thinking straight, we're not. That thing's broken. The crown's broken. You're no longer the king. We are no longer the kings. We have fallen. We've lost it. That crown's the same thing that's, when the moon comes in front of the sun, that crown's that same thing that is generated. The broken crown, the corona, the crown of thorns. That's the broken crown, because the light, the main light, is being blocked by the moon, by all those fictional ideas, all that stuff that we generated in our minds that's controlling us. So inevitably when we fall, well, everything that we created, everything that is Jill, as we go up the hill, that pail of water gets spilled. Jill comes tumbling down with us. That's what Jill is. Jill is the all the stuff that we create as well from Jill, from the fiction, from the moon, from the fictional, the metaphysical side of reality, the mental place. So that's what ends up happening. Okay, and then the second verse, the running home, sorry, and that's what ends up happening, isn't it? You end up having to be fixed up by your Mother Nature, Christ, Jesus Christ. That's who has to fix you up. That's who you have to find. Vinegar and brown paper. A lot of people use vinegar, as a cure-all. I mean, it's a natural remedy for a lot of things. I don't know about brown paper, but but you see what I'm saying. That's what ends up happening. What else did I want to say about that whole thing? Oh, so anyway, I guess, well, he mentioned the cube and the square controlling us, because I think he's getting ready to do a video on Earth as the prison planet. Well, I don't see things quite like that, but this idea of the square coincides with the things that we generate. That's the boxes we generate. Oh, that's what he was talking about as well. Jack in the box. So, us being the Jack, right now we're the jackass, and we got to spring out of that box, basically. So the box is the thing that controls you. This is the stuff we generate, and this comes back to, all this old geometry type, I don't know, Masonic stuff, with and all that kind of ancient stuff with square in the circle, the age-old conundrum of taking us. The way I understand it is what we're trying to do is, or what the problem was trying to make a square with the same area as a said circle, a set size of circle and square, and we're trying to equal the areas on those two things. I'm not quite sure, as you can probably tell, but that is what we're trying to do. Every time we generate an idea, we are forming a square, an imperfect shape, an imperfect thing. So that imperfect shape, if it was perfect, it'd be a circle, yeah? No beginning, no end. Like pi, the number. No beginning, no beginning, no end, but it's just an infinite number. And phi as well, an infinite number. So those are divine numbers, if you like. And what we try to generate is we try to copy that, and our attempts at copying it is, we're going clubbing, we're doing a dance, big box, little box, big box, little box. Oh dear, Dan, you're losing it, mate. But you see what I'm saying? We are trying to square the circle. That's what we're trying to do, and inevitably we can't do it. Our stuff does not come out how, we're just imitating. And when we're imitating, it's not perfect. you know. So when it's not perfect, what happens is it goes wrong. It's imbalanced. It's unbalanced. And when it goes wrong, what ends up happening is it ends up controlling you. That's just what happens. When something's not balanced, the only time that you are not controlled is when you're balanced. This is the true meaning of being free. You know, the true oh, you can go and do anything when you want to do it. No, the true, well, yeah, but no, the true meaning of being free is, you know, if you can balance everything perfectly, then you're not getting pulled one way or the other all the time. You know, those things just cancel out. So that's what being free is being free of being controlled by something else, some other influence. And so that the only place where you have freedom is when you are on that little pinhead, that, you know, the tip of the pin, on that balancing point. So, you know, there's a couple of channels that I watch, and we constantly going on about. There's one channel going on about the I think it's Enter the Stars, the ball and the needle, and there's my other guy I watch as well sometimes, or Jurassic Liars, the space needle. Okay, you've got a ring up there. Well, it's a slightly different idea, but that point of the needle is the tippy top, the top of the pyramid, the balance point. It's where the eye sits. The eye that sees everything. That eye, that gateway into pure balance, to God. So that sits at the tip of that balance point, at the tip of the needle. And then, of course, we get all the other stuff referencing that in the reality, you know, like taking the old jab. But do you know what I mean? It's I've completely lost my train of thought now, but you know what I mean? If you're not balanced, you're not free. And so when you create something that's imbalanced, inevitably it ends up controlling you. So you end up putting yourself, that very thing that you create, that very box that you create, that very idea that you have, is the same thing that ends up taking away your freedom. It's the same thing that ends up controlling you. It's the box you get yourself into. It's that cube. It's the monolith. It's all those things rolled into one. Everything you generate. So you see how difficult it is to find balance. I mean, it's you know, it's an uphill battle, as Jack found out. But you know, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. You know, just talking about that idea there. I will get to the 3-2-2. I will, but I'm just too tired tonight. You know. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. All right. See you. Bye.